I just would say like I became a meditation teacher because it has been the practice that's made the most impact on my life. And there's so many benefits of meditation. Like anyone can Google, it's like physical, mental,
Mm,
emotional, spiritual. Like it literally ticks all the boxes. I think I've posted once, like, if all the benefits were in a magic pill, like everyone would be taking that pill. You don't just get to take a pill for this, you have to show up for it. But it's like you could do it in 5 minutes a day. And I can guarantee you everyone has 5 minutes
yes,
somewhere
of
in their
course.
day. And it's more about like how do you prioritize that, or how do you work that into your life in a way that feels supportive and doable, and not like an added stress or something just to knock off your to-do list, but like
Mm.
here's something that I know will make me feel better, and I love myself enough to like find the time to do it.
Hi, welcome back to the Shelter Rescue podcast. It's such an honor to have you here, and it's such an honor to present you my next guest. And it was very interesting conversation around how meditation is really important for you in everyday life. But here, my guest, she's sharing how meditation has helped her to go through her own personal development that inspired her to be one, and also how she became a coach. Her name is Lara Grant, and let's go into it. All right, Laura, and welcome to the podcast. I'm so honored that you're here. Truly, I am, and we know each other from a common group coaching program. We can talk about that later, but I'm so honored that you're here. You want to share your expertise because you're within personal and spiritual development area. And but before we start about that, I would love to know who is Laura Grant.
Lara Grant. So, yeah, I mean, there are obviously very different versions of me and different aspects of me. Um, I guess in the more like conventional answer to that question is that I'm a meditation teacher and well-being coach. And so um, meditation has been one of those things that has been kind of the foundational practice for me and so much of my healing and growth. And so um, I run my own meditation and journaling programs, and then I'm a teacher on this meditation app. So love being in the meditation world. And then I also do one-on-one coaching to help people with whatever they're struggling with. But I feel like at the core of it is really helping people to love, accept, and have compassion for themselves. That's been my own biggest journey, my own like self-love spiritual journey. And so getting to share that with others has been the most fulfilling work. So that's currently the version of me that's expressing. But yeah, I think on a more broad level, it's just someone that's trying to make the world a better place, both inside of myself and outside of myself.
Mm. So beautiful. But what led you to the journey of wanting to be a meditation facilitator? What happened in your life that you want to become that?
Yeah. So I started meditating about 11 years ago now. My boyfriend at the time was really into it. Like, he really introduced me to some spiritual teachers and books and things, like Eckhart Tolle, if you know who that is. And
He's the
um,
best.
yes, like the first kind of book like that I read was The Power of Now, and it totally was just like my mind kind of exploded, like total like paradigm shift. And so at that time, it was just kind of starting to meditate more frequently and noticing that the analogy I like to use is like if you've ever been in a room and the AC's on or a refrigerator's humming and then it turns off and you didn't really realize it was there until it turns off, that noise, like that's how stress and anxiety was for me. I didn't even realize it was kind of this ever-present background until I started meditating because it would quiet and shut off for a little bit. And so I started to notice just a lot of positive effects of more mindfulness meditation practices. And uh, then, like a few years into it, I did a 10-day silent meditation retreat that was really profound for me. And so
Oh,
it's through
where did
the,
you do that? Where did you do the silent
yeah,
retreat?
so it's through the Vipassana organization, and they have centers all over the world. I went to the main one in the United States, which is in Massachusetts. And it's a really beautiful facility. And for 10 days, there's no talking, there's no reading, no writing, no technology of any kind. You're really meditating for like 10 hours a day. And what I experienced during that was that so often I was either living in the past or like
Mm.
fantasizing about the future or fearing the future. It was really like very rarely was I in the actual present moment. And it was just so profound. And it's like, oh, contentment or joy, it's all here in the present moment. And so it was just a very impactful 10 days for me. And I started working with coaches during this time and doing some healing work. I got into David Hawkins' work. If you've ever heard of him,
I never.
um, he's kind of famous for this map of consciousness that he basically put feelings and emotions on this scale and shows you like how dense the energy of shame and guilt and grief
Yeah,
are.
yeah. I've seen that map, but I never
Yeah,
knew that the name of the person who did that. Okay.
yeah, very enlightening to read his work too, and his work has had a huge impact on me. But uh, it wasn't really until 2019, this boyfriend and I, we were together about 5 years. We were gonna finally move in together, and then he went and did a retreat in Costa Rica, and was like, I want to go be a facilitator at this retreat center, and so broke
Mhm.
up with me. I was like devastated and just so sad. And I knew like, okay, I don't want to feel this pain. So let me dive into it and use all the modalities that I've dipped my toe in or have heard about. And so I started working with a really incredible coach, and he really helped me see that I was using that relationship or things outside of me to give me love versus loving myself. And this was a pattern of kind of codependency and just um, doing whatever I thought I needed to do to be loved. And it was the biggest catalyst for my self-love and spiritual journey. And it's something I'm just like eternally grateful for because
Mm.
it did put me down this path. And um, yeah, who I am today because of that is just so different. And so then a year later, I had been working as an editor for a travel website. So I would write
Mm.
about travel and then photograph and review hotels all over the world. It was honestly like a dream job and very, very fun.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
but in 2020, because of COVID,
Yeah.
like pausing travel, um, our parent company decided to shut down our company. And so I was part of like a 900 person layoff. But because of that breakup experience, I really trusted that something good was coming out of it. Like it was for me. It wasn't. And so again, I leaned into like, okay, feeling the fear, feeling the grief, but also what do I now want to do?
Yeah, trusting the
And
process.
yeah, trusting that life was leading me where I was supposed to go. And it just felt very obvious that I wanted to share these tools that had basically changed my life with as many people as I could while I'm here on this planet. So I got my meditation teacher certification and started building out my meditation programs and um, putting my meditations online and things. And um, it's felt so fulfilling. And so yeah, that was the journey to get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing this because while I was listening to you, what I was feeling was that this former boyfriend of yours then, he was kind of like a guide, a spiritual guide in a way,
Oh, totally.
teaching you, giving you the tools. And then probably he got an awakening in Costa Rica and just like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to be there. And you were like, okay, you felt like you were safe with it with him. But then as he decided to live there, you had to find your own power back in a way because you were giving away your power. And that was so courageous of you to find someone to help you to understand.
Mm.
You understand the tools of how important is that meditation and all those things, but you also needed a guide again, but who can help you to love yourself instead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
so
Yeah, no, it's beautiful how people come into our lives and are teachers and guides for us in many different ways, and maybe not in the ways we totally wanted at the time or see in the moment. But yeah, and he actually led me to the coach that then helped me see everything. So it's so beautiful how it all kind of connected
yeah.
and worked out.
So you're now a meditation facilitator, helping both women and men, or only helping? Okay. And how long have you done that for right now?
So that's been like 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do my own meditation programs, but then one thing I also do that has been so lovely is that there's this app called Insight Timer. It's kind of similar to Headspace or Calm if you've heard of
Yeah, yeah.
those.
Mm,
And I'm a meditation teacher on there, and so I have a bunch of recorded meditations that people can do, but I also host a weekly live meditation and journaling practice. And what's really cool about that is because it's virtual, people from all over the world can come. And so, like last week, we had 178 people from all over the world come to meditate
yeah.
and journal together around like inner child healing or self-love or
Mhm.
gratitude, whatever the theme changes every week.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Okay.
it's so, so beautiful.
Okay, so how do you want to share how the process goes? You first meditate and then journal, and what type of journaling are you doing? It's more like intuitive, or is it more like how does it go?
Yeah, so say like it's a letting go meditation.
Mm,
We'll do a maybe 25-minute meditation, 30-minute meditation, and then after I'll give like probably four journal prompts uh, that are around that theme. So maybe it's like I let go of dot dot dot, and then they just take 5 minutes to do that. And then when I let go, I feel blank. And then they kind of tap into what do I feel like when I actually release that and
wow.
letting them just kind of connect the dots and ground what they experienced in the meditation a little bit deeper. And then often it's also something like, what's a practical thing I can do in the next 24 hours or daily that helps me connect to my power or my inner peace or whatever it is. So I think they're both really valuable tools to have in your toolbox, meditation and journaling.
Yeah.
So just letting people experience that for themselves is how they're going to actually decide, like, oh, what feels good? What do I like and want to take? What do I maybe not resonate with the most? And then they can develop their own daily or weekly or monthly routine, whatever, based off that.
Oh, so beautiful. I would love to hear. Do you have any story you want to share around people coming to you and just meditating and journaling and what happens after, like if you have any stories, because it's so beautiful to hear like t testimonies and so, but like you could
Yeah.
share a bit.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that's coming to mind right now is, and I'm struggling to remember what the actual theme was, but that's less important. But um, after the meditation, people are, using the chat box, and one man said, like, "Wow, I started to cry. I haven't cried in I can't remember how long. And just the how beautiful that they were able to like feel safe and held enough in this group container, like virtually, to allow themselves to feel something that they hadn't felt. And he shared a little bit later, like that he had a breakthrough through that.
Mhm.
And that's just an hour-long practice, not even receiving one-on-one support, but just in this group container being guided. And so just this work is so powerful if you show up for it. And so yeah, there's been so many variations of that, or people really connecting to just their inner peace, or like during the inner child work, which I find so beautiful and moving. Um, it's like they're like, oh, I really got to feel my little one, and I connected with them, and they were so full of light and joy. And it's like that's then an experience that they can bring throughout their life. Like, oh, can I connect back to that moment, how I felt when I was connecting to my,
Yeah,
7-year-old child or
yeah.
whoever. Um, yeah, it's so profound and so beautiful to get to hear some of the things that people experience, and how, and I know that that will impact them later on.
Okay, so after you're having a group facilitate, facilitating for group, are you like, because you share something, you have a one-on-one coaching as well, one-on-one meditation, do you have that too as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and I've gotten clients from there, which is so beautiful. And with the one-on-one work, it's really dependent on what it is that they're wanting to work on. And um, but yeah, meditation is often a part of the coaching work I do, just because, like, what a little peek behind the curtain, that Charity and I did a little grounding practice. Charity led us through a beautiful little grounding practice. And I think that's so important in, like, also when I'm working one-on-one, because it's like you're popping in from wherever, whatever you just did in your day. And it's like, hey, let's land here together and just take
Mm.
a moment. And I think what's beautiful about that is it's such a good way for people to experience. You don't need a lot of time to also come back to yourself. Like, you can take 3 minutes for yourself, during your lunch break or in the morning or before you go to bed, just to like come home to yourself. It doesn't need to be necessarily an hour-long practice, right? It can just
Mm.
be, let's take a few minutes by myself or with someone else to, yeah, breathe and connect and ground.
Yeah, but that is so beautiful because I was thinking of Deepak Chopra. Like
Mm-hmm.
he said, like everyone needs to meditate, but
Yeah.
those people who say they don't need to meditate, that they don't have the time, they're the one who need that meditation even more.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him or?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's some, I don't know if it's attributed to him, but I think someone else said there's that line like, if you think you don't have an hour to meditate, you should meditate for 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah, it
Like,
was him, I think.
yeah. And I think that is so accurate. And I just would say like I became a meditation teacher because it has been the practice that's made the most impact on my life. And there's so many benefits of meditation. Like, anyone can Google, it's like physical, mental,
Mm,
emotional, spiritual. Like, it literally ticks all the boxes. I think I've posted once, like, if all the benefits were in a magic pill, like everyone would be taking that pill. You don't just get to take a pill for this, you have to show up for it. But it's like you could do it in 5 minutes a day. And I can guarantee you everyone has 5 minutes
yes,
somewhere
of
in their
course.
day. And it's more about like, how do you prioritize that, or how do you work that into your life in a way that feels supportive and doable, and not like an added stress or something just to knock off your to-do list, but like,
Mm,
here's something that I know will make me feel better, and I love myself enough to like find the time to do it. And yeah, it can just be a few minutes. Like, do
yeah,
what you can.
yeah. I just want to share, like, I'm a mother, And
Yeah.
before I had children, I was like, I love meditating and so forth. But now as a mother, I felt like I still need to meditate. So I do meditate whenever I wake up. I wake up a little bit like 30 minutes before my children. I still lay in the bed. I do meditate. I
Yeah.
try to meditate during the day. And so I feel like as a mother who is very busy, like
Yeah.
I do still find the time to meditate. Even if I go to the bathroom, it's like, or in the shower, I just meditate. And there's also different ways to meditate. Do you want to share? Like, because I feel like when people hear meditation, they think you have to sit down and just meditate. But do you know
Mhm.
any other ways that you can meditate you want to share?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And let me just say, as a single person with no kids, it's definitely a privileged place to say that I meditate. I have so much respect and admiration for parents or people that are juggling a lot because you're like superheroes. And but yeah, there are so many ways that you can be mindful or add like meditation to how you move through through your day, what you're already doing. Like um a very common one is a walking meditation. So
Mm,
if you're even, you don't even need to go on a walk in your neighborhood, like walking from one room to another, can you like just focus on the feeling of your feet touching the carpet or the
wow.
floor? So for those 30 seconds, like just adding a little bit of like intentionality and mindfulness to how you're moving, like that's meditating. That's a form
I'm
of
gonna take that one. I'm gonna take that one because when I'm thinking about walking meditation, I think, oh, I would have to go outside, go in the forest, but I never thought of being at home,
Yeah.
walking in different rooms. As a mother, thank you.
Yeah,
I will
like
take that. Yeah.
or even like when you're brushing your teeth, just how much presence and like intention can you bring to what you're doing? So just like adding more mindfulness to it. And so instead of maybe like when you typically brush your teeth, you're thinking about everything on your to-do list. Like, how about for those 2 minutes or whatever, like, can I just feel exactly what's happening with my toothbrush in my mouth? Like, that's something you're going to do every day, right? And so it's like you can add that in a way that feels doable. Or there's some other good ones like just like while you're making food or
Mhm.
adding a little bit more mindfulness to it, or even before you eat, just taking 3 deep breaths, smell your food, look at your food, maybe set a little intention or prayer, and then eat. Like all those things could be done in less than a minute. And so, yeah, you're gonna find what works best for you and like what feels good and resonates just by trying a bunch of things. So I always say, like, if you don't like one form of meditation or one guided meditation, try another and like see what you like. There's something for everyone.
Mm. I love how you say when you say intention and prayer. And for the listeners, I would love for you to elevate a bit more around what is the meaning of setting intention and what's the meaning of prayer and
Mm.
what's the meaning of meditation. You're like, can you unravel that a little bit?
Yeah. So I do think like maybe we all have a little bit of our own definition or way we hold these, especially maybe how you grew up or certain spiritual
Mhm.
beliefs. Uh, I think intention is just like, how do I want to show up? How do I want to be? What is my intention for myself or my life? And I think having an idea of what that is just helps you move through life with a bit more clarity and maybe ease. And so the first 3 things I say when I wake up are thank you for this day. Thank you for my life. Today is a beautiful day. And so
Gratitude.
that's both yeah, it's gratitude. It's also kind of a prayer and a thank you to God, source, life, the universe, whatever you want to call it, and an intention for my day. Like today is a beautiful day, whether it's chaotic or emotional or joyful or whatever, like I find my intention is to find beauty in all of it. And so holding that intention for myself helps me to just start my day from a place of like of gratitude or like openness or centeredness, whatever you want to call
Mm.
it. And um, I think prayer is just one of the most beautiful ways to allow ourselves to receive. I think I've personally have had a hard time receiving in my life. It's much easier for me to give. I'm sure lots of moms can probably relate to that, where you're just always in give mode, right? And I know that it can be hard, especially, and for women too, for men as well. But like, I think women are maybe naturally more givers, caregivers in a certain sense, because they are in that mom role where they're constantly giving. Um, but I think prayer is a way to be like, what do I want to receive? What do I want? How can I allow myself to receive from myself or from another, from the universe, God? And so I say lots of prayers and affirmations throughout the day just to help me kind of be in that energy of uh, giving to myself and life and also allowing myself to receive.
Such a
Hopefully that
beautiful
makes
balance.
sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It does. And then you said it so beautifully, like prayer is more receiving, like receiving power, receiving not power in a way to control anyone, but to like see yourself as a battery that you need to recharge in a way,
Yeah.
to upload yourself. And then also love the way that you say intention is more like to set intention. How do I want to show up somewhere in the world or somewhere in the office and so forth? Because I think the society we're not thought to like is that we go up in the morning and just brush our teeth or eat, brush our teeth, go away and just, it's chaotic. We're not
Yeah.
really in ourselves. We everywhere and nowhere. But meditation, what you're saying, meditation is so key for us to like be in the center, setting intention, like how do I want to show up when I walk out of my house? Like who am
Yeah.
I? Like like that.
Totally.
Mm,
Yeah. And like one way that I feel like that can translate is also like, say you're having a disagreement with your partner, like before having a talk, like what's your intention? Like, oh, my intention is to come to a place of resolve, like, and be in compassion with myself and them. Like, it's a way to like just help you show up in a way that you can feel good about. Or it's like, my intention when I go to work and have this conversation with my boss is um, to be respectful and respected, or like just, it's setting like it's both, there's an intention and kind of prayer in both of that, but it's like you get to use it in so many different ways. And I think um, it helps just bring positive energy to
yeah.
whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
doing. It's just like
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Elevating the vibration, so to speak, like the one you sh shared in the beginning, the David Hawkins, no?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, please share about that around the different patterns of feelings and what does it mean?
Yeah. So basically, and I'm sure someone else maybe understands this more, but feelings and things have a vibration and a frequency. And we all intuitively know like that, like guilt feels a certain way in our body versus joy. Like
Mm,
one is guilt feels heavy and dense and contracted. And like you can almost feel like your shoulders start to collapse
yeah.
in that.
Mm,
Whereas joy is like you feel light and open and expansive. And so the way that he did it is he used muscle testing, which some people might be familiar with, but it's this kind of form of kinesiology where basically truth is available to us and we can use our body's innate wisdom to find that. But that's probably for something separate. But basically, he figured out with his with other people that feelings can go from, I believe it's shame is at like 20, so of a frequency, which is the like the pretty much the lowest, right before death, which is, 0. And
Wow.
then um, all the way up to enlightenment, which is 1,000. So there's all these feelings on the range from there. And 200 is basically the mark that goes from quote unquote negative to positive. And so when you're under 200, there's kind of a, let's just say, life taking energy, like, whereas above 200 is like a life giving. There's just, um, yeah, a very clear distinction. And so
Mm,
on the bottom half of that, there's shame and then guilt.
mm,
I'm not sure exactly what's next, maybe grief, fear, anger. And so one thing you can think about is like even intuitively, like anger often feels better than grief, right? And so a lot of people, um, when they're actually feeling sad, want to feel anger because that feels at least a little higher. There's more energy in that.
okay.
Whereas to drop into grief, it's a little denser,
Yeah.
even though it's probably necessary at sometimes. But it's just we can understand, oh, why are we wanting to move into anger versus grief?
Mm,
It feels different. Um, and those feelings aren't bad. I think I've I've had to move, like go through a lot of things to realize like feelings are just information and they're ways for us to experience things and move through things, but we don't want to get caught in those ones that are dense. And um, I think we all want to be in the higher, feeling emotions, which are like courage or hopefulness, love, joy, excitement, bliss.
mm,
And um, and so I think it's just helpful to have a frame of reference for like, oh yeah, this is why certain things feel a certain way. This is why other things feel a certain way. And his book, he has a book called Letting Go, which is the book I recommend to everyone. It's probably the book that's had the biggest impact on my life because he really shares a practical way to let go of those denser emotions, and it's really just through presence and allowing. I know a lot of people have maybe seen that they say an emotion will move through you in like 90 seconds if you don't get involved in it. And so if you're maybe feeling grief, if you just feel the sensation of it, which can be like maybe a dense energy in the heart, um, if you just allow that to move on its own, it will clear. But often we get trapped in thinking more about it, and that just perpetuates it. We
mm,
drop out of the feeling and go into the mind. Um, Kind of the one most stark experience of this that I can share is when I had that devastating breakup, and I had read Letting Go before, but I reread it, and it, hit
yeah.
a lot differently, as
Mm,
books
mm,
often do when you need it. Um, but I was feeling this like really heavy, almost like fiery ball in my chest of grief, crying, feeling it. And I just was trying to practice this letting go technique of allowing it to be there, just watching it, almost like it's almost like a neutral observer. Like I'm just holding this thing and watching it burn inside my chest. And I just started to feel it completely start to dissipate and like open into this expansive feeling and uh, dissolve completely on its own. And I was like, wow, that's what it means to let go and to surrender into it. I just allowed it. I didn't think about it more. I didn't try and avoid it or indulge it in a way. And yeah, it was so, so powerful. And um, it's something I wish that we were taught as kids how to do because
Exactly. Yeah.
I did not learn until I was late 20s how to feel emotions or even,
Mhm.
and so for most of my life I had just repressed them and or like uh yeah, basically repress them until it got too much and then I would, explode. Uh to like the two people that I felt safe enough to do that with, which was like maybe my mom as a kid or my ex-boyfriend. And
Mm.
so learning that has been, I mean, a game changer. And uh yeah, I recommend that book to everyone because it's such a it's something that, we don't come with a manual, but that's as close to like a manual as I feel like we can get to at least moving through those difficult emotions.
Yeah, because I think, I want to ask you also with your clients, have you like met anyone who had like the resistance of feeling the emotions? Because I do feel and believe that people are so afraid to feel their feelings, and
Yeah.
they rather to feel their feelings to put a mask instead to like everything's okay and repress those feelings, or they are just used to having that. It was so fascinating when you said anger because people want it was actually feeling grief, but they want to just be stuck on the anger. They want to go deeper. So they are stuck in the anger. What do you think the reason why people are so afraid to feel their feelings? What do you think?
Oh gosh, so many reasons. I think, I mean, it doesn't feel good. Like, as I think it can start to feel good when you become more practiced in it, and it starts to become like, oh, this is just a sensation, and I can appreciate it for what it is. But I think bef in the beginning, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good. It hurts. I don't want to deal with that. And um, because we've been usually taught for many, many years to not cry or put on a brave face or just don't be angry. Like there's a lot of messaging around like it not being okay to feel a certain way because the person telling you that is also uncomfortable with their emotions. And so they don't know how to hold space or to witness it or experience it for themselves. Um, and so it's just it can be uncomfortable at first. And so we're naturally, I think, inclined to seek comfort and seek um, the path of least resistance.
Hmm.
And what's funny is that I actually think it requires a lot of resistance to not feel our feelings, but it doesn't feel like that at first. It yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But
No, it makes a lot of sense. You say
yeah.
so beautifully.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to dip our toe into it so it maybe doesn't feel overwhelming at first. And I think having someone like a coach or therapist, or even a really skilled friend that's able to hold space.
Who has high
Yeah,
emotional
but
EQ?
yeah, who has a high emotional capacity and range and
Yeah.
groundedness, um, that can help can help hold the space for you to dip your toe in and start letting your nervous system and your mind, your body, your spirit know that it's safe to feel your emotions.
Mm.
I think you don't want to go maybe too far too quick without any support because you might not know
Yeah.
how to hold yourself in that. And so Um, what's so beautiful about the time we live in right now is there's so many resources for people to like be held by someone or to be like having a guide to help you move through it and like make sure like, oh, I think you're going into your mind or like let's drop into the emotion, the feeling is so, so valuable, especially like when we're first starting to understand and navigate our emotions in a new way. Uh,
Mm.
and I think throughout all of it, having a lot of grace and compassion for ourselves. Like, yeah, we didn't learn, most of us, how to do this. We have years of practice of not feeling our feeling.
Mm.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a little rocky or just uh it's gonna be a journey
It's gonna be a
figuring out
journey.
how that is. And like there's so much beauty in that. And if you can just have some love and compassion, acceptance for yourself, regardless of how you're meeting your emotions, how you're navigating them, like that's where the real magic is. And it's like, how can you have compassion for yourself through all of it?
Yeah, so essential. Compassion, love for yourself first. That's
Yeah.
where, with your story, like you're depending on him, but then you'll learn how to love yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not just the parts that are easy to love or easier to love, like the parts that feel shame, that feel guilt, that feel grief, that repeat the same patterns over and over again, like the ones that I maybe don't like or uh, whatever it may be, like that part of me that still deserves just as the same amount of love and compassion and acceptance as the ones that I do like and enjoy more. And
Yeah.
I think it's a it's such an ongoing process of meeting ourselves and
Mm.
all of our expression with that level of compassion and
Yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah, I was just thinking also, as you were saying, like embracing the ugly part of us, have compassion, and like in meditation, and they say like when you meditate, well, most people think that when you meditate, you have to like have a quiet mind. Is it really to
Hmm.
have quiet mind, or is it more like to observe your mind? And then also, when it comes to that, do you kind of like only shut your mind down to connect with the feelings, or do you connect with both mind and feelings and your body? You want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So first, yeah, definitely unless you're like meditating for like 10 days or you're a monk somewhere, like you're gonna have a really active mind. We all
Mm.
do. Like uh there's so much we have going on every day and stimulus and things like that's just the nature of the mind. And that so uh, I think we don't want to be fighting our mind because
That,
that's just creating more
yeah,
tension. And
more
so
resistance.
yeah. um and so it's more like uh there's various meditations you can practice. And so the most kind of simple one is a breath awareness where you're maybe focusing on the feeling of air moving through your nostrils, or you're just feeling your chest rise and fall. And then anytime you notice that your mind has wandered, you just gently bring it back to where it was.
Mm.
And your mind is going to wander like constantly. The point of it is not to not have a quiet mind or yeah, to not have a busy mind. It's just to increase your awareness
Ah,
of what's
beautiful.
happening.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
it's
so
like,
beautiful. Increase your awareness. Wow.
yeah,
Please
so like
continue.
instead of maybe you're focusing on your chest and then your mind goes to what you're going to eat for dinner and you spend a few minutes just thinking about that and you're like, oh, I was supposed to be meditating. Let me bring it back. And
Mm.
then as you keep practicing, maybe you notice when your mind wanders in a minute or maybe in 30 seconds. And so you're just increasing your ability to be aware of what's going on within you uh, and not judging yourself for.
Mm.
having certain thoughts or emotions, the the mind is just going to be spitting out those thoughts and want to solve problems or want to think about something fun or whatever it is. And so, uh, yeah, the practice is not to fight that, but just to be like, oh, okay, let me come back to what my intention was, which was focusing on my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
breath. Or there's body scan meditations, which is what Vipassana is, and I really think that's a beautiful practice because you're taking awareness from like the top of your head and moving down each part of the body, just bringing some awareness to every little like section of your body and just moving it up and down. And what I think is helpful about that practice is because you're moving your awareness, it helps keep the mind a little more engaged. And so you don't have necessarily as many thoughts. So it's a good, I think, practice for everyone because it'll help you without it feeling so maybe hard. I
Yeah,
think, I think for a lot of people, it can maybe feel hard in the beginning. But but yeah, there's so many beautiful benefits of meditating because you might notice as you're doing your practice, oh, I'm feeling some sadness today, or I'm feeling really good today, or whatever it is you're just noticing and like
yeah.
and being with whatever's present in the moment. And um, again, that awareness is then going to help you like when you move into your day. So uh, it's kind of like yoga in the sense like, yes, you have the practice on your mat or on your meditation uh, cushion, whatever, but it's really to help you then throughout the rest of your day. Like
Mm.
that time is sacred and beautiful, and a lot of benefits can come from it, and you'll really notice the benefits after. Um, like, can I share one story?
Yeah,
Well,
please do.
so I did another 10-day meditation retreat in 2023. And
Where was that?
that was actually in Oahu,
Where is Wow?
Oahu, Hawaii.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really lovely. It was so they have locations throughout the world and then they also rent places. And so this is one that they had rented from the Boy Scouts of America. I don't know if you know what that is here, but it's like a little organization in the United States. But for the 10 days, like it was so beautiful, so profound, had really um, peaceful, enlightening moments. I felt like I shed a lot of stress and anxiety and stuff that I had been carrying. And then I stayed in Hawaii for a few days after just to like integrate and ground and let the re-entry into society be a little gentle because it can be quite a shock.
yeah,
And I went on this hike and there were there was this like outlook at the top overlooking the ocean. It was so beautiful. And there were these two people there just talking, uh, very animated. And I was finding myself so annoyed that they were talking at this beautiful outlook. And I was finding myself like, "Ugh, of course, like just getting irritated. And then when I became aware that I was annoyed, I just started cracking up because I was like, oh my God, this is what the whole 10-day meditation retreat was for. It was so that I can notice when I'm getting irritated around people just living their life and having a perfectly normal,
wow. That's
experience.
so, yeah.
And I was able to then just like let go of the
Mm.
irritation and anger and so the 10 days were beautiful, but it's those kind of moments where I notice, oh, I'm letting myself get upset or and do I want to do that? No, I want to choose to just be
Yeah.
enjoyment or content.
So what you're saying is that do meditation, go to retreats is more like for you to come back to your center and just being with the essence really. But that is after that, the real test comes when you're back into the society. But
Yeah.
you notice more when you get irritated or you notice yourself instead of like engaging in that feeling, like the anger. What if you did not become aware of that and you just engage and then you like start to project your anger to those
Yeah.
couples that are just having a good time?
Yeah, exactly. And like letting it just take me for a ride and ruin my day.
Mm,
And like another analogy I like to use with meditation or self-compassion, all these things like they're practices and we practice them each day so that when something difficult or challenging happens, we have the experience we've practiced this before. And so we're much more likely to show ourselves self-compassion when we make a mistake if we've been practicing self-compassion on days when we don't make a mistake,
yeah.
or we become aware of how we're getting really angry over something on social media because we've practiced this awareness through meditation every day. And
Mm,
we get to
mm,
just choose how we want to show up.
mm.
And
Yeah, so beautiful. Wow, Laura, I mean, like, I just can feel you being so in the present moment when I talk to you. It's so beautiful to have this conversation with you and loving the story of you. You started with sharing your story around that ex-boyfriend teaching about meditation, and then that led you to becoming who you are today. So beautiful. Is there anything more you want to share before we, you know, anything else you want to share that
I'll
can
just
help the,
say,
help the listeners around their
yeah.
involvement?
Yeah, I'll just say like I really feel like love and compassion and acceptance heals everything. And
Mm,
um, the more we can practice that with ourselves and others, the more that like we'll continue to spread that love and compassion. The world needs more of it, and I promise you are worthy of it, regardless of
mm,
what's happened. And so, um, yeah, take little steps or big steps every day just to take care of yourself and show yourself love. And I kind of say it's like be the unconditionally loving parent that maybe you didn't even have, but that you would have desired. And so it's like when a child is upset and you just like hold them and say like I'm here for you, I got you, like be that with yourself, and that'll change your life.
so beautiful said. So, I mean, how can people find you, like if they want to work with you?
Yeah, so my website is laragrant.com, LaraGrant. And on Instagram, Lara_Grant. And on Insight Timer, you can find me on there, my name, and come to one of they're all free. So you get to experience those. And it's such a beautiful, kind community. I say it's like the kindest, sweetest corner of the internet is that app. So you can come experience that. And I would love to, yeah, connect with anyone.
Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you so much for this conversation. It was really, I learned so much, especially that walking meditation is like you can do at your home, just being grateful,
Yeah.
just noticing how you take steps at your home. So beautiful. And also
Thank
the David Hawkins.
Yeah.
Basically, people should like print it out and have it in their home. And so
Yeah.
what was the name of the book again? You want to
Letting go.
letting
Letting go.
go? Yeah.
Highly recommend. It's my favorite of his books. So like practical
Mm,
and yeah, really, really helpful. It's changed my life, truly.
beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much, Laura. I'm really grateful for having this conversation.
thank you. I'm so grateful. You're such a joy to speak with. And I love talking about this stuff, as you can probably tell. So
Yeah.
thank you for, yeah,
Yeah.
giving us this space to do so. So lovely.
Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed the conversation I had with Lara Grant. It was so inspiring to hear her journey, how meditation has helped her so much with her own personal and even spiritual development. And really truly that meditation is key for you to find your own center to navigate through life. That we all have that time, either it is 90 seconds, 5 minutes, or 20 minutes. Yeah, really. And I hope that you are inspired to connect with Laura, and you'll find all the information how you can reach out to her on the show notes. I will leave all the links where you can follow her on Instagram and also connect with her. I'm truly honored that you're here. And as always, like I say, may you bring your heaven down to earth. You're here to live your life, your best life, and see you on the next episode. Hey, so thank you so much for tuning in to this beautiful episode. And a cost-free way for you to support this podcast is if you're tuning in on YouTube, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you're tuning in listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow this podcast and also share with your friends. Thank you so much for being you.